Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, focusing on the top 5 most valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins. These coins, due to their rarity, historical significance, and unique features, have fetched impressive sums in the current market. Let's explore these numismatic treasures. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and often overlooked coins in modern American history. That's right, we're talking about the 1979 Washington quarter. You might think this coin is just another piece of change rattling in your pocket, but let me tell you, some of these coins are worth much more than 25 cents. In fact, some rare examples have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. So stay with me as we go through everything you need to know about the 1979 Washington quarter, including its history, what makes certain ones valuable, and what collectors are paying today. Let's start with the basics. The 1979 Washington quarter was struck at 3 mints that year: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Our focus today is on the Denver minted version, which you can identify by the small letter D on the coin just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Over 500 million of these coins were struck at the Denver mint that year, which means they're not inherently rare by mintage numbers alone. But the devil is in the details, and there are key varieties and conditions that can turn this common coin into a collector's gem. So why would anyone pay big money for a 1979 quarter? Let's explore that. First, it all comes down to condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect uncirculated coin with no flaws under magnification. If you have a 1979 quarter in pristine mint state, especially graded MS66 or higher by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC, it can be worth a premium. In fact, as of this year, an MS67 example of the 1979 quarter has sold for more than $1,500 at auction. That's a huge jump from face value. But even more exciting are the errors. Error coins are coins that have mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors go crazy for them. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1979 quarters feature mint errors like off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets. An off-center strike means the coin wasn't properly aligned when it was struck, so part of the design is missing. A double die means parts of the design appear doubled and can usually be seen in the lettering or numbers. These errors can add significant value to the coin depending on severity and visibility point. One of the most famous error types in all coin collecting is the double die. While the 1979 quarter is not known for a widespread double die issue, there are examples out there that show mild doubling, especially in the date or the word liberty. If you spot this kind of error on your coin, it's absolutely worth getting it professionally examined. Now let's talk about market value today. Most circulated 1979 quarters are still only worth face value unless they have errors or are in exceptional condition. But if you have an uncirculated coin with a high grade or a known error, it could fetch a nice premium. As of 2025, on the open market, these high-grade quarters are often sold on auction sites or through certified dealers, and prices range widely. A regular mint state 1979 quarter might sell for $5 to $20, but rare errors and top-grade coins can sell from hundreds to even thousands of dollars. So what should you be looking for in your change or coin collection? Number 1, check the condition. Is the coin shiny with no wear or scratches? It might be uncirculated. Number 2, look for the D mint mark to the right of Washington's ponytail. Number 3, inspect the coin for any oddities like doubling, misalignment, or unusual cuts. And number 4, if you think you've found something special, consider sending it to a professional grading service. A certified grade not only confirms the value but can dramatically increase what a buyer is willing to pay. Let's not forget the historical context of the 1979 quarter. It was minted just a few years after America's bicentennial celebrations, a time when coin collecting was booming. And this coin represents the classic Washington design before major changes were introduced decades later, including the state quarters program in 1999. So for many collectors, the 1979 quarter represents a final chapter in the classic era of American coinage. So there you have it. The 1979 Washington quarter may not seem like much at first glance, but look closely, and you might discover a hidden treasure. Whether it's a rare mint error or a pristine uncirculated gem, this coin has the potential to be worth far more than its face value. Check your pocket change, dig through your old coin jars, and revisit that childhood coin collection. Who knows, you might be sitting on a piece of numismatic gold. We dive deep into the hidden treasures of your pocket change. Today we're talking about a seemingly ordinary coin that might just be hiding in plain sight, the 1990 Washington quarter dollar. Don't overlook this coin just because it's common. Some of these quarters are worth way more than 25 cents. In fact, a few rare versions have sold for thousands of dollars. So let's dig into the full story behind this coin, what makes it valuable, and what collectors are paying for it today. Let's go back to the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It became so popular that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter permanently. By the time we get to 1990, the Washington quarter had already become a fixture in American coinage, featuring George Washington's bust on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. Now let's focus on the 1990 D quarter. The D Mint mark stands for Denver, one of the United States Mint's key facilities. In that year, the Denver Mint produced a whopping 927 million Washington quarters. That's right, nearly a billion coins were struck with the 1990 D Mint mark. So, the average 1990 D quarter you pull from circulation today is likely to be worth face value. But, and this is a big but, there are exceptions that are worth serious money. Let's talk about condition first. If you have a 1990 D quarter in pristine condition, especially one graded mint state or higher by coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, it can be worth more than just pocket change. A standard, uncirculated example might fetch $2 to $5. But in mint state 67 or higher, you could be looking at $20, $50, or even over $100 depending on the eye appeal and demand. Now here's where things get really exciting. Some rare errors and varieties can turn an ordinary 1990 D quarter into a jackpot for collectors. One of the most valuable error types is the off-center strike. That's when the coin is not properly aligned in the press and part of the design is missing or shifted. A well-preserved off-center strike can easily go for hundreds of dollars. Then there's the double die variety, where the design appears to be duplicated due to a mistake during the minting process. While double die quarters from 1990 aren't as famous as other years, they do exist. If you come across one, especially with clear doubling on the lettering or numbers, that coin could be worth big money, possibly several $100s or more depending on the severity and visibility of the doubling. Another factor collectors look for is full strike details, especially on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Coins that are sharply struck with no wear and strong luster are always in high demand. Combine that with a low population in high grades and you've got a recipe for serious value. But let's not forget about proof errors. Although proofs were not made at the Denver Mint, some coins have been found with polished dies or mirror-like surfaces that resemble proof characteristics. These can be anomalies that spark the interest of niche collectors. Let's move to auction results and real-world prices. One 1990 D quarter in mint state 67 condition sold for over $500 at auction. That's 2,000 times its face value. And while that's not the norm, it shows that the market rewards top condition coins. The current coin market has also been heating up in recent years. Inflation, increased interest in tangible assets, and a new generation of collectors have all driven up prices for coins in excellent condition or with unique errors. If you're lucky enough to find a 1990 D quarter with a strong die error, expect offers in the hundreds. And if it's a top-graded example in a PCGS or NGC slab, you could be looking at values well into the high triple digits. So how can you tell if your 1990 D quarter is valuable? First, examine the coin under good lighting. Look for sharpness in the design, no signs of wear, and especially any unusual features like doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, or misalignments. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe will help spot the fine details. If the coin looks promising, consider sending it to a professional grading service. The cost of grading is often worth it if the coin comes back with a high grade or a recognized error. In conclusion, while most 1990 D quarters are still worth just 25 cents, a small number can be worth a fortune. Whether it's because of rare errors, unusually high grades, or collector demand, some coins from this ordinary year have become extraordinary in value. So check your coin jars, flip through your change, and don't overlook those older quarters. That dull-looking 1990 D coin might just be your unexpected treasure. We're diving deep into the history and value of the 1994 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might be hiding in your change and could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just curious about coins in your pocket, this video is for you. The Washington quarter has a rich history. First minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, it quickly became a staple of American currency. Over the decades, it has seen many changes in design, composition, and mintage numbers. But today we're zeroing in on one specific version, the 1994 Philadelphia Mint Washington Quartered. So let's break it down. The 1994 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is identified by the letter P just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse of the coin. In that year, over 1 billion quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. To be exact, more than 1.5 billion. With such a high mintage number, you might be wondering, how could this coin be rare or valuable? The answer lies not in the quantity, but in the quality and the rarity of specific types, varieties, and minting errors. Let's start with the basic value. In average circulated condition, the 1994 P quarter is still worth just about 25 cents. But when you look at higher grades, particularly those graded MS66 and above, the value jumps significantly. MS stands for mint state, and the higher the number, the better the condition. At MS67, this coin can sell for anywhere between $50 to $100, depending on eye appeal and demand. At MS68, which is extremely rare, the price can go up to several $100s, and in some cases even more. Now let's talk about key factors that make the 1994 P quarter stand out. First, minting errors. Errors can be the golden ticket for collectors. Look out for off-center strikes, double die obverse, and clipped planchets. These are not extremely common, but when they do appear, collectors are willing to pay a premium. Some of these error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction point. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the lettering on the front of the coin appears to be doubled. This can often be seen most clearly in the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Another type of error is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't struck correctly. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Let's shift gears and talk about the grading. A coin's grade is everything in the collector's market. Coins that have never been circulated and are free from scratches, dings, and wear are what collectors crave. These are the mint state coins I mentioned earlier. A coin graded MS65 is considered gem uncirculated. MS66 and above are the coins that really bring in the big money. Keep in mind that grading is subjective and done by professional services like PCGS or NGC. So what's the highest known grade for the 1994 P quarter? According to PCGS records, only a handful of coins have been graded MS68. These are exceptionally rare and can fetch anywhere from $500 to $1,500 or more, depending on the buyer and the timing of the sale. In terms of investment, the 1994 P Washington quarter might not seem like a gold mine at first glance. But if you're paying attention to condition, grading, and rare errors, you might have a small fortune sitting in a coin jar at home. Keep an eye out for rolls of quarters from the bank or even change you receive at a store. Many great coin finds happen when you least expect them. To sum it up, the 1994 P Washington quarter dollar is a common coin with uncommon potential. In circulated condition, it's still worth face value. But in mint state, especially with rare errors or high grades, it can be worth big money. If you find a clean, shiny 1994 P quarter, don't spend it, check it for errors, look at the condition, and consider sending it in for grading. We're diving deep into a coin you might have in your collection, or in your change jar right now, the 2013 P Mint Mark quarter dollar. Stick around, because some of these coins are worth a lot more than 25 cents. Let's start with the basics. In 2013, the U.S. Mint continued the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a special series that ran from 2010 through 2021. This series celebrated national parks and historic sites across all 50 states, U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia. 5 different designs were released each year. The quarters released in 2013 featured White Mountain in New Hampshire, Perry's Victory in Ohio, Great Basin in Nevada, Fort McHenry in Maryland, and Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. All of these had Philadelphia Mint versions, identified by the small letter P on the obverse, to the right of Washington's ponytail. These 2013 P quarters were minted in huge quantities, hundreds of millions in some cases, but that doesn't mean they're all common or worthless. Certain varieties, condition levels, and mint errors make a big difference. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of each 2013 design. For example, White Mountain had over 107 million pieces struck at the Philadelphia Mint at Perry's victory, had 131 million at Great Basin, had 141 million to Fort McHenry, came in at around 151 million at Mount Rushmore, topped them all with more than 231 million coins from Philly alone. So clearly, these aren't rare in terms of how many were made. But scarcity and value don't always come from mintage numbers alone. Sometimes, it's the specific characteristics of a coin that make it valuable. Let's talk about where the money really is. Most circulated 2013 P quarters are worth face value. But if you find one with a rare mint error or it's in high mint state condition, it could be worth way more. Here are some things to look out for. Double dies. Certain 2013 P quarters, like the Fort McHenry design, have shown doubling in the fireworks or letters on the reverse. These double dies can bring in $25 to $100 depending on severity and condition. Off-center strikes. If a 2013 quarter was misaligned during the strike and has an off-center design, it could sell for $50 to over $200, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Die cracks and cuds. These occur when the die itself breaks or wears down. Look for raised, jagged lines or blobs of metal, especially on the rims or lettering. High-grade examples. Coins graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC are relatively rare. For example, a 2013 P White Mountain quarter graded MS67 has sold for over $300 at auction. Mount Rushmore examples in MS68 have reached $500 or more in some cases. Satin finish or special strike. While most 2013 P quarters are regular circulation strike coins, some from special mint or souvenir sets have a satin or enhanced finish. These are less common and can command higher prices. Let's talk about what these coins are worth today, in 2025. The coin market fluctuates based on collector demand, grading trends, and silver or copper prices. Even though these quarters don't contain silver, their market can still be influenced by the overall coin economy. Right now, circulated 2013 P quarters are worth 25 cents unless they have an error or are in nearly uncirculated condition. Mint state coins in MS65 typically go for $3 to $1.10 at MS66. Examples range from $10 to $1.40. MS67 or higher can skyrocket, depending on population reports and demand. Some go for over $100 easily. Verified error coins with dramatic doubling or off-center strikes are currently selling between $50 and $300, depending on condition and type. Now here's the exciting part. You don't have to be a millionaire to get into this hobby. You can start searching rolls from the bank, change from the grocery store, or coin jars in your house. When hunting for 2013 P quarters, use a magnifier to spot small doubling, cracks, or die breaks. Compare your coins to known varieties listed on sites like Variety Vista or Wexler's. Consider submitting a rare find to a grading service like PCGS or NGC if you believe it's high grade or a dramatic error. The 2013 P Mint Mark quarters are more than just everyday change. They're part of a fascinating series that blends history, geography, and art. And for some lucky collectors, they've turned into valuable treasures. Keep hunting, keep learning, and don't underestimate the power of your pocket change. We dig deep into coins, currency, and collectibles that could be sitting in your pocket right now with hidden value. Today, we are diving into something recent but surprisingly valuable: the 2021 D Mint Mark $quarter coins. You may have heard that some of these are worth more than just 25 cents. Well, the rumors are true, and in this video we're going to break down why, how, and what you need to look for if you want to score big with these quarters. So grab your change jar, pull out your 2021 quarters, and let's get started. In 2021, the United States Mint released two main quarter designs. One was the final issue of the America the Beautiful series, the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site quarter. The second design was the first issue of the New American Women Quarters program featuring General George Washington crossing the Delaware. Now here is where it gets interesting. Both these quarters were struck with different mint marks, including Philadelphia marked with AP, San Francisco with an S, and Denver with a D. Today's focus is all about that Denver Mint mark, or the 2021 D quarters. The Denver Mint struck millions of these coins, but not all were created equal. The D Mint mark simply means it was minted in Denver, but some coins from Denver were struck with special care, had unique die varieties, or even suffered from minting errors. These are the ones collectors and investors are after. So if you see a tiny letter D on the right side of George Washington near the lower center of the coin, you might just be holding something special. And believe me, the devil is in the details. Let's first talk about the 2021 D Tuskegee Airman Quarter. This was the last issue of the America the Beautiful series and commemorates the legendary black fighter pilots of World War II. While the base value of this coin is 25 cents, certain versions of this coin with the D mint mark have sold for serious premiums. Coins in high mint state condition, meaning little to no wear and sharp details, have been graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC with ratings of MS66 and higher. Some MS67 coins have sold for between $50 to $100, depending on demand and timing. Now that might not sound like a fortune, but considering it's a coin that just came out of circulation, that's a huge return. Even more valuable are error versions. Some 2021 D Tuskegee quarters feature die chips, double dies, or struck-through errors. These are mistakes that happen during the minting process and make each affected coin unique. One known example with a retained cut error sold for over $200. Next up, the Washington crossing the Delaware quarter. This marked a return to the classic obverse portrait of Washington and was intended as a bridge between quarter programs. The D-mint versions of this coin are already starting to create buzz among collectors. Although it's not even 4 years old, high-grade examples and known errors are already bringing in impressive auction prices. For example, a 2021 D crossing the Delaware quarter graded MS68 has been auctioned for over $500. These are incredibly difficult to find in such pristine condition, which is why they command top dollar. The real kicker. Several error varieties have been confirmed, including off-center strikes, double dies, and die breaks. Some of these errors have sold for anywhere from $100 to over $300, so how can you find one of these valuable quarters? First, check for the D mint mark. Remember, it will be on the obverse of the coin near Washington's ponytail. Second, inspect the coin for errors. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to look for signs of doubling, especially in the letters and date, unusual bumps or chips, or any strike irregularities. Third, evaluate the coin's condition. Coins with no wear, no scratches, and strong luster are the ones most likely to earn high mint state grades. And fourth, consider sending promising coins to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC if you believe it could be a high-value piece. A grade of MS67 or higher can be the difference between a common coin and a rare collector's item. Now let's talk numbers. Most circulated 2021 D quarters are worth face value, but mint state and error coins have sold for anywhere from $10 to over $500. MS65 coins average around $15 to $25. MS66 can bring $30 to $50. MS67 and above are much rarer and have sold for $100 or more. Error coins range widely, with minor die chips going for $20 and more dramatic errors like struck-through grease or retained cuds breaking 3 figures. As more collectors begin to realize the potential of these coins, and as fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation, the market value is likely to go up. So hang on to those coins and keep your eyes open. And there you have it, folks. The 2021 D Mint Mark $quarter coins might just be the modern sleeper hit of U.S. coinage. Whether it's the Tuskegee Airman design or Washington crossing the Delaware, these quarters are already showing serious value on the collector market. So next time you get change at the grocery store or the gas station, take a minute to check the dates and mint marks. You never know when you might hold a little piece of American history that's worth a lot more than 25 cents. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe for more coin and currency content, and tap the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and good luck treasure hunting.